Tonight, at least six people are now facing charges in the death of 21-year-old Zachary Moore. He died after he was chemically injected while being held face down for nearly 13 minutes at the Southeast Arkansas Human Development Center. They all face charges of manslaughter and neglect and will appear in court next week, though it's unclear if they are part of the same group of 12 that were fired last year. Hello, and thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Brooke Buckner. Tomorrow, early voting will begin for primary runoff races across the state, and here in Pulaski County, there are two that voters will cast their ballots for, starting with the Democratic race for Senate District 15. State Representative Tara Shepard and Charity Smith Allen are the two candidates here, but the big race is the one for Secretary of State between Senator Kim Hammer and Brian Norris. Cole Jester and Governor Sanders have endorsed Hammer, while Norris says he wants to bring back elections Arkansans can trust. And election officials say just because it's a runoff doesn't mean it's not important.
The voting period is very important, and we want everybody to participate in all elections. School elections are important, runoff elections are important, and the main elections are important. But we certainly, and I'm sure those candidates as well, we need people to go back out and vote and make sure that their voice is heard for these elections.
Again, early voting begins tomorrow at 8 a.m. with 12 polling sites set up across the county.
Turned out to be considerably cooler today. We hit 90 yesterday, and today we hit 75 degrees at midnight. Temperature had been sliding back ever since. We did rebound a bit this afternoon with some sunshine. We've got high overcast skies for the most part. You can see the high clouds there in the distance. They'll thicken up tonight, and we will incorporate a little rain chance later on tonight and tomorrow. There are the highs, 74 it says here, but we were at 75 at midnight. 73 Conway today, and all of these locations happened way early this morning, and those numbers did slowly slide back. Current number 63 now, 75 to Queen. Texarkana, 71 to Queen. It's 67 in Russellville. Mountain Home, Harrison, 60, 58 Jonesboro. With clouds thickening up tonight, temperatures will drop off into the upper 40s and low 50s. Some cooler air advecting across the region, thickening clouds and a chance of rain. It's a very small chance of rain coming in late tonight. Your low temperatures bottoming out in the lower 40s in northeast Arkansas to mid 50s down in southwest Arkansas. Got the rest of your forecast, including a look ahead. More warm temperatures by the middle to latter part of the week, but very little rain and a lot of burn bans.
Thank you, Tom. City leaders in Pine Bluff say new development projects could help revitalize the city, but not everybody is convinced. From a go-kart track to a multi-million-dollar redevelopment of the Old Pines Mall, investment is growing. THV 11's Tanya Motorzitsky hears how, while all this is happening, some say other needs aren't being met.
When it comes to development in Pine Bluff, Michael McCray, the city's cultural development specialist, says the projects happening around town have the potential for a much bigger outcome in the future.
Bring in tourism, cultural heritage tourism, gaming, and so that will be a driver for more people, more dollars, more economic development.
From the $1 million go-kart and mini golf to the casino and event center, McRae says these investments could help transform blighted areas into a thriving community again, while celebrating the city's heritage.
And it's all here in downtown Pine Bluff. And that's one of the reasons that this is the epicenter for the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Culture District, because within 360 degrees, you can just see, you can walk through, 100 years of history.
People have been vocal about the projects, offering mixed reviews. Some praise the progress, while others point out the empty buildings downtown and what's still missing, like grocery stores.
We're in the middle of a haircut, and so you can't judge it by that. And everybody agrees we need all of that, but we need all these things. Right now, we have the largest opportunity to attract and capture outside investment, outside dollars.
To address food insecurity on the east side and the abandoned mall, the Pines.
I'm buying the entire mall.
Edmund Pilarz with the Mall Farm and Marketplace says he's buying the property for $68 million to bring hydroponically grown food to Pine Bluff.
So hydroponic technology now has 10 times the per square foot production as traditional farming.
He says there are already 3 locations across the country and 42 malls are under contract to buy. They plan to produce fruits, veggies, fish, and shrimp. In 2023, a potential buyer showed interest in reopening the mall, but that deal never happened. No one we spoke with in the community knew about this specific new mall project, and the city did not respond to our request for comment. McRae says he hopes to grow Pine Bluff's food scene too, while keeping its cultural roots at the center.
Don't count us out. We're not through cooking the gumbo. You know, we got the season, we got the ingredients. You got to let us heat it up a little bit, but we're still working on it. But when it comes out, that etouffee will be so good.
In Pine Bluff, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
Tanya, thank you. Pilar says he hopes to have food ready by the end of the year. Up in Northwest Arkansas, law enforcement agencies are celebrating the grand opening of the newly expanded Northwest Arkansas Division of Law Enforcement Standards and Training Center. That gives them access to new scenario-based training environments to better prepare for the realities of their jobs. The Department of Public Safety says it represents a historic investment in the state's law enforcement community.
You can sit in a simulator, a driving simulator, be dispatched to a call just like you would in your patrol unit. Walk into 2 or 3 separate rooms, work different scenarios, whether it be de-escalation techniques or maybe a live fire situation.
The expansions include more than 21,000 feet of indoor training space to the campus and another 10,000 square feet of space for outdoor shooting ranges. Let's move over to continuing coverage of the partial government shutdown as things continue to escalate at airports across the country. The administration has sent ICE agents to 14 airports to help with screening as TSA officers continue to work without pay. Over the weekend, call-outs reached their highest level yet, and the frustration is starting to boil over for many.
I've never seen lines like those before, and those certainly pose security issues for all of those folks involved, and that has to be addressed right away.
ICE agents are being paid during the shutdown, unlike TSA officers. The president of the union that represents TSA slammed the idea of ICE at airports, saying TSA officers deserve to be paid, not replaced by untrained, armed agents who he says have shown how dangerous they can be. President Trump also says he'd consider sending the National Guard in if immigration agents aren't enough. Those comments coming before his trip to Memphis, where he spoke on a number of things, including the shutdown and the Save America Act, saying they actually have a lot in common.
Think of it. We're talking about 2 separate items, but they're really the same. Voter ID is part of Homeland Security, and citizenship, proof of citizenship, is part of Homeland Security. So I think it should be welded in. I think it should be together. You should vote together, because the public has not liked what they've done at the airports.
This, of course, all happening as the war in Iran continues. But tonight, the president says he is delaying planned strikes there because talks with leaders to end the fighting are going well. And that could be welcome news at the pump, because here in Arkansas, the average price for a gallon of gas has risen 13 cents over the last week alone, now averaging $3.40 a gallon. In Little Rock, prices are 94 cents higher than a month ago and 67 cents higher than a year ago. Here's how things look across the nation. The national average hit $3.95 a gallon, up over $1 from nearly a month ago. Those out west are seeing the highest prices, while many in the central part of the state are seeing the lowest prices. But that doesn't mean we still don't want to save as much money as we can, and by now you've probably heard of different ways to do that, but do they actually help? Megan Bragg verifies.
Topping off your car, filling up with off-brand gas, getting gas at a certain time. Well, these are all different myths that say you can save money. But do they actually? Let's verify. Our sources, Patrick DeHaan, petroleum analyst with Gas Buddy and AAA. The first claim, you should top off your gas tank after the pump shuts off.
Usually when the pump takes off, your vehicle is like 98 or 99% full, and topping off really isn't something that people have to do.
AAA says it can also be dangerous. Overfilling saturates your vehicle vapor recovery system, which can lead to permanent damage. So we can verify that false. You don't need to top off your tank after the pump shuts off, and it could cause problems to your car in the long run. The next claim, pumping your gas on a certain day of the week will save you money.
Filling up on a day of the week is probably not going to cause you to pay a whole lot more or less. There are a lot more things that consumers can do to save themselves a lot more. things like shopping around before you fill your tank.
Dahan says gas prices can be affected by the time of year. In summer, fuel tends to be more expensive. But we can verify that no, gassing up on a certain day of the week will not save you money. And finally, off-brand gas is bad for your vehicle.
All gasoline is going to run just fine in your vehicle. It's really about the station that sells it, whether or not some of those stations may not invest as much in making sure that their gasoline is not contaminated, things like that nature. But 99.9% of stations are selling gasoline that's going to run just fine in your car.
So we can verify that no, off-brand gas is not bad for your vehicle. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
A theater in Rogers damaged in storms is almost set to open back up. After the break, why the 2-year effort is making the space better than before.
Got a 3-day forecast for you. Tomorrow, 62, a little bit of light rain possible in some places. And then we warm up once again by Thursday. Record high temperatures are possible in the upper 80s. We'll take a look beyond. Also, we got a lot of burn bans and wildfire danger to talk about when we come back.